Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, BritneyMania took the world by storm. Britney Spears was everywhere, literally every goddamn where. She had concert tours going on, she was making millions of dollars, dealing with a lot of personal issues because of her terrible father and other family members. But boy, oh boy, BritneyMania was certainly a time that we could never go back to. It wasn't Beatlemania, it probably wasn't even to the level of what the Spice Girls achieved, but man, oh man, Britney Spears for a number of years was one of the biggest pop stars in the fucking world. So much so that MTV Films and others decided that Britney Spears should try to act on the big screen. Emphasis on try, like this movie tried to just maybe run or slightly jog, but in the case of this final production, it fell down several flights of stairs, just like Taryn Manning and her acting career. I'm John Rentham with a retro review of Crossroads from 2002. Now, after that intro, you might think that I'm not a Britney Spears fan. You would be wrong. You'd be maybe not dead wrong, but you would be wrong. I saw her in concert twice. I drove 4 hours to the Gorge in Eastern Washington. I mean, you wouldn't know that Eastern Washington is that way unless you know where I am. And if you do know where I am, quit stalking me, goddammit. I've already had stalkers in my life. That being said, Britney Spears was performing at the Gorge in George, Washington. Yes, that is the actual name of a town. Has a few restaurants and a couple gas stations and some train tracks. I remember that. I've not actually been to George, Washington. Well, ever, because I wasn't born then, even though I am pretty old. But back in 2000, I decided to take my 82 Honda Accord with my ticket for the Gorge and watch Britney Spears. I believe the A-Teens opened for her. I'm just going to talk about a little bit of history because this movie, I'm going to get to it in a bit, but the A-Teens opened for her. Remember the A-Teens when they did ABBA or ABBA songs and then they ran out of that? Then they did one for, I believe, Lilo and Stitch. I'm trying to remember what song they did for Lilo and Stitch. Anyway, the whole point is they had other opening acts. And then in 2003, I saw her at the Tacoma Dome, which even back then had terrible acoustics. It only got worse when I saw Joan Jett, the Black Hearts and Heart, and Elle King open for them in 2019, and then AEW Wrestle Dream in 2024 that killed the town as a live event market. Well, it killed the state. But that being said, back to Britney Spears. She was a revelation as far as marketing. Is Britney Spears the best singer? No. Is she the greatest singer? No. Is she a really, really good singer? I would argue she has better vocal range than some people will give her credit for. She looked good. She's around the age I am. I took to her because pretty blonde, southern, how could you not? She did have her fall from grace, unfortunately, due to a lot of personal issues and a lot of undiagnosed mental health stuff. And is Britney Spears a perfect person? No, nobody is. But Britney has definitely dealt with a lot more shit than anybody should have. The conservatorship, that was terrible. Thankfully, she seems to be in a bit of a better place now. K-Fed should never have gotten a dime from her. None of her exes really should have, in all honesty, because they took advantage of her. But back in 2002, Britney Spears was pretty much being worked to death, if we're being perfectly honest. This was filmed sometime in 2001. It was directed by Tamara Davis, who did television and worked on films like Half Baked, Best Man, and music videos like Bop, and also Billy Madison. And was allegedly written by a human being. I refuse to believe that, given some of the dialogue here. Shonda Rhimes, who worked on television. So, Britney Spears plays Lucy, who is a valedictorian who, according to her dad, played by Dan Aykroyd, of all people, who took this role basically to meet Britney Spears. I think Dan Aykroyd's star was maybe not at the level of Britney at this point, but he certainly was a big-time celebrity and probably could have got a chance to meet her. Then again, it would have looked a little bit weird for a guy at Dan Aykroyd's age doing that. Maybe his kids wanted to meet Britney. I don't goddamn know. So his dad, Pete, who works at an auto shop, we know this because we see one scene, literally one scene, where he is wearing a very clean shirt working on a car. A very white and clean shirt. So Lucy's a valedictorian. She wants her first time to be special. So she doesn't sleep with Justin Long. Yes, Justin Long, fresh off of Jeepers Creepers. Thankfully, not treated like other young boys were by Victor Salva. Fuck that guy. Not literally. He should be, quite frankly, banned from polite society. But yeah, after all that, we basically get our story rolling. Actually, we get our story rolling with a little time capsule deal. Girls putting stuff in a box, and then burying it, and then unearthing it years later when they are on totally opposite sides of whatever. We have Lucy, played by Britney Spears. We have Kit, played by Zoe Saldana, of all people. And we have Mimi, played by Taryn Hillbilly as fuck Manning. And I really would feel bad about that, but look at what Taryn Manning associates with. So I don't feel bad about making fun of her. Kim Cattrall plays Lucy's mother. Anson Mount, stop laughing. This is a serious discussion. Yeah, plays a guy named Ben. And Robert De Niro actually suggested that Anson take this deal. I forget what movie they were on set for. Robert De Niro thought it'd be really good for him. Robert De Niro, by the way, was sitting down reading Britney Spears' lines, or standing up. Really, him and Al Pacino are the same goddamn height. Same with Dustin Hoffman. But I don't think De Niro and Pacino are nearly as creepy or as bad to women as goddamn Dustin Hoffman was. Look it up, folks. So yeah, the movie cost $12 million, which would be $21 million in today's money. $14.5 million opening. $25.3 million in today's money. $37.5 million U.S. gross would be $65.6 million. And $61.7 million. This movie made $600 million. That would have been a crime. But $61.7 million worldwide gross, $108 million in today's money. And quite a bit of that international gross was from Japan. Britney Spears is very popular there. So again, I am a big fan of Britney Spears' music. Not every single one of her records is a hit. Not every single one of her songs is great. But as far as nostalgia, I was 21 when this movie came out. I was 19 when I saw her at the Gorge. And I was 22 when I saw her at the Tacoma Dome. And I was working at the movie theater at the time and decided to sit with a couple friends that we were just going to have some fun. There were probably about maybe 6, 7 people in that audience that wanted to actually see the movie seriously. Unfortunately, the vast majority, the mob mentality, was just to hoot and holler at this goddamn thing from the very beginning, because the movie is objectively terrible. I'm sorry. If you are not as old as I am, you don't get just how crazy BritneyMania was. Unless you're maybe a couple years younger than me, but the whole point is, if you're, say, a 20-year-old person watching this movie, you weren't even alive when it came out. Damn it, you kids, get off my lawn. The whole thing is, this movie is terrible. It is terrible from a writing standpoint, an acting standpoint, a shot standpoint. It is just terrible from every aspect. Is it fun? Not necessarily. There are moments where, we get at least a little bit of unintentional hilarity. The unbridled stupidity of this whole movie. It is still better than Glitter from Justin to Kelly and, say, On the Line. That's right, they thought Lance Bass would be a good actor. Emmanuel Shrieky was in that movie. I may retro review some of these movies at this point because I'm just having fun. But the movie itself is just not good. I just made notes about shit that was happening because I had not actually watched this in a number of years. I did watch it when it first came out in theaters, and it was a great experience. Maybe not for the few people that want to see something serious. And I did rewatch it a number of years later when it got a DVD release. And yeah, not great. This is before video stores went out of business, by the way. I decided to rent it with a couple friends. I don't know why we watched that necessarily, but yeah. So, again, terrible. It's just a terrible movie. Just a terrible movie. But it seemed like everybody had fun. There were outtakes at the end, with overprotected playing, so that was nice. So, basically, Aykroyd, again, I said about the dad role. Madonna was possibly penciled in to play the mother. Good soundtrack, especially for the time. I do remember saying about the time capsule, the box and everything, putting that, do you really want your movie to start this way? Which is a line from Track of the Movies by MST3K. Britney singing, Open Your Heart by Madonna was kind of cool. And this was filmed like a cable TV special for 1995. And I think, if I remember right, she was dating Justin Timberlake at the time. And, Mickey Mouse Club members. Unfortunately, Justin Timberlake, kind of a naughty individual as far as how he acted after Britney had her crash out and all that. And they really pushed her heavy Louisiana theme, born accent here. I mean, really, like crazy. Like, is it the bayou and everything? You gonna die. Sorry to all the people in Louisiana that have internet, all 5 of you. This acting, this filmmaking, this scene blocking is just horrendous. I mean, it's not like everybody was a brother care, but just, again, it's meant to be funny, but it's just whatever. It's fine. So basically, Taryn Manning playing Mimi, that's what it was. Mimi, I'm sorry. I just don't care about these characters. She got knocked up at a Christmas party and is pregnant. And is waffling about whether to keep it or not. Kit, Zoe Saldana's character, is a popular pretty girl. These friends have gone their separate ways. Lucy's a valedictorian. I'm not saying that Brittany isn't smart. We're pushing it a little bit here. Justin Long, who is a lab partner of, Lucy here, wanted to sleep with her. To be fair, Brittany back then, I think there were a lot of guys around my age who wanted to. Because, again, she's right around my age. Back in 2002, Brittany looked good. I'm not saying she doesn't look good now. By the way, men, begging for sex just never ends well. As much as we may be wired to want it, no, it's just not good. Yeah, Taryn Manning, once again, I would feel bad about picking on Taryn Manning, but I watched a movie called Karen that she was in. It was like a BET special. It was terrible. What's in the box? It's childhood memories. So, how were these 3 ever friends is what I noted. They decided to basically get a guy named Ben that was playing guitar, played by Anson Mount, and they decided to go on a road trip. And road trip in a 73 car. She doesn't tell her dad. Oh, no, it's terrible. They said that, basically, the rumor was that Ben actually killed somebody. He didn't kill somebody. Kit wants to go to L.A. to see her boyfriend, Dylan. And Lucy wants to find her mom in Arizona. So go to L.A. with stops along the way. We're not drinking in L.A. with my mind on my money and my money on my mind. Yeah. Bet you didn't expect that version. Lipstick and Bruises plays. There's some good songs here, or at least good songs for the time. So Lucy basically wants to be a singer. She doesn't want to just do what her dad wants her to do. By the way, they also sung Bye 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 in the car. Ah ha ha ha. And so the car has trouble. It's a radiator issue. And even though Lucy has grown up with a mechanic dad, she doesn't have the tools to do this and probably can't get just somebody in Louisiana to figure out how to fix their radiator. I'm sorry, once again, but I have talked to people in Louisiana. I have... My medical insurance, my current medical insurance has a headquarters based out of Louisiana. As Cajun as a bayou as possible. Nice people, but goddamn, I needed subtitles from over the phone. So, they're going to do a singing thing. They basically got to do karaoke. And they can get all the tips they ask for, just the tips. Doesn't go well until Lucy finds her voice. Can sing I Love Rock and Roll. She rocked those jean shorts nice, I will say that much. And the tips basically give them the ability to fix the car and go on. It must have been like $1,000 in tips. Back then? I mean, well, it was pre-Katrina, before so many people in Louisiana had to deal with all that bullshit. And that's just terrible. That's just fucking terrible. So, the big thing is Ben didn't want anybody to drive his car. Well, he was asleep. They wanted to get on the road. So they got on the road singing Shania Twain's Man, I Feel Like a Woman. Thanks, Chris. Thank you very, very fucking much for ruining that song. Just with doing the deep voice for no reason. And he said, the reason is that was his car. It wasn't that he didn't think that the women could drive. To be fair, I don't know if I would have trusted any of them to drive at that point, especially a blonde. But that being said, I ought to take care of the woman demographic on my channel. And he says, well, I've heard girl things all day. You know what it's like to hang around girls all the time? That's a stupid question. That was like one of the few times where the movie seemed self-aware that the writing is terrible. And the thing is, he didn't kill a guy. He actually went and got his stepsister, took her across state lines because the stepdad was beating her up, but he got put in jail and had to spend some time in Ohio because of that. I think spending time in Ohio would be worse than a jail sentence. Sorry to everybody in Ohio. Sorry. But they go to Arizona, like part of the Grand Canyon, see some beautiful sunsets. They just came to say hello. And she sees she has a journal. And literally the lyrics for I'm not a girl, or I'm not a girl yet, not yet a woman. I can't even say it, even though it's one of her best songs. So Ben plays guitar. He's not Ziggy, but he does play guitar. And he's just doing some stuff, having fun. And then she goes to meet her mother. Her mother basically didn't want her, said she was a mistake. We find this out off camera because I guess they couldn't trust Kim Cattrall to not be a full-on bitch. And they rumor, innuendo or inherendo, which again, Kim Cattrall. No, let's stop knocking Kim Cattrall, by the way. Even though everybody else has. Knocked her around, I mean. So, basically she shows back up at the apartment, and Lucy is all down in the dumps. And oh yes, her mother also has 2 other kids that apparently she has no issues with, or she kidnapped them. Possibly the latter because Kim Cattrall. So, anyway, Ben is working on music and comes up with the idea, hey, you could really perform this. So, I put some beats to your journal stuff. So she sings, I'm not a girl, not yet a woman. It's fine. It's fine. It's stupid. I mean, again, I don't think maybe Britney did have an ego at this point. Maybe not. I don't know. But they sung If It Makes You Happy, If It Makes You Happy by Sheryl Crow. Sheryl Crow had a weird career trajectory at that point. So, anyway, essentially, they're going to be part of this, like, music concert thing. This concert judgment deal. Like, I don't know why they put this band together. Like, Ben says he's going to go get a band together. By the way, we have like 20 minutes left. And Kit decides to go see her guy, Dylan, who apparently is with some redhead, pretty redhead. I mean, I don't know who the fuck she was, but I swear I recognize the actress. But nevertheless, earlier, Mimi had told the story about some guy who took her home and then kind of took advantage of her while she was drunk and everything. And then Kit suddenly puts 2 and 2 together, seeing how Dylan's acting, and realizes that Dylan's the one that knocked her up. Pretty perceptive, but kind of late? How'd you not notice this months before? I mean, to be fair, the friends weren't really talking, but it's fine. And Lucy and Ben get together because Lucy wanted her first time to be special. So yeah, with this guy on a road trip she's known for a little bit, instead of her lab partner for a few years. I don't speak from any experience about that. Actually, I danced with a few girls at my senior prom. One was a 6-foot Swedish exchange student that a full-on dick decided to leave. She got a ride home and everything, but sadly because she didn't want to sleep with him because he was a fucking dick, and I wish nothing but the worst for him. She was cool, though. He was very cool. Ellen, I believe, was her name. Is Ellen or Aaron? I think it was Ellen. Very nice. Dance to I Don't Want to Miss a Thing by Aerosmith because, yeah, 1998. It was actually 2000 that the prom was, but nevertheless. So, Dylan, being the guy that knocked her up, Zoe was taught how to punch a guy earlier and did that with all her might. Unfortunately, then, Mimi fell down some stairs and did end up losing the kid. She decided she wanted to keep it. Possibly, maybe, give the kid to a couple that could take care of it, but she wanted to make sure she carried the kid the full term. And that'd be terrible to lose a kid that way. That really would. It honestly would. I'm not going to get into specifics, but that moment hits a little hard. Had I seen this a few months before, it wouldn't have hit as hard, but now it does. And the dad suddenly gets there out of nowhere. She made a collect call from the hospital, and he got there like instantly. It was like between the scene transition, anything's possible. And he wants her to go home, and she says she wants to do this. Don't make me run away like Mom did. So they do the concert. She sings I'm Not a Girl, Not Yet a Woman. Everybody is cheering. They bury all their memories in another box on the beach. Being that it's California, by this point, it's probably underwater because the coast is being swallowed up because the coast is toast. And they have each other now. I guess they're friends until they drift apart. We never got a sequel, which probably is a good thing given where everybody's careers went. And Overprotected plays us while the outtakes go. So yeah, that is Crossroads. Fun to revisit after about 24 fucking years, because I think it came out in February or March of 2002. So it's almost at the 24-year anniversary. I promise you I will not be revisiting this movie anytime soon, but I decided, let me put at least this retro review on video because it's fun. Again, Britney Spears fan here. The movie is objectively terrible. For those that were around during BritneyMania, that were around my age, say, they were between 18 and 21 at the time. Let me know, were you a fan of Britney Spears? Did you have siblings that were? Let me know. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Retland, and until we see where life takes us once again, if it's going to be toxic, come slipping under. Happy trails to you.